Thank you very much, Shyamul Dutta. Thank you. So, is there any question or brief comment from the audience? Yes, yes, please. Can you please introduce yourself briefly and then your brief comment or question?
My name is Johannes van der Klauw. I'm the representative of the UNHCR, which leads UN response to the Rohingya crisis. Foreign Minister, we are honored with your presence here, distinguished guest. We have listened with much interest to all the expert knowledge shared here. Just to complement to what my colleague of UNDP has been saying, what can we do to make repatriation happen? We have to continue to work in Myanmar, in Rakhine State. We have agencies, UN agencies working there, but our operation space, as the former consul from Sydney has been telling us, is limited. We continue to try to deliver assistance to the population. We try to also help to reconstruct, but that is so much we can do. The real action has to be political on the global scale, but also in the regional dialogue. We try to involve ASEAN with its initiatives. But we need all these activities which have been explained, justice, the late Kofi Annan Commission on Rakhine, all these recommendations need to continue to be implemented. That's one thing. The other thing we can do is, while the Rohingya are here in Bangladesh, and they all want to return, we all want them to return, they want to return. The problem originated in Myanmar, the solution is there, but while they're here, we need to keep them focused on return by providing them which we call purposeful lives, dignified lives, and safe lives in the camps. So we need to continue to invest while they're temporarily here, and while we keep them focused on return, to be able to be educated, to be skilled, to have some livelihood activities. So that's also our contribution here in Bangladesh, with the focus on return. So if we want to introduce skills development, it's for skills to be used in Rakhine State. The education introduction of the Myanmar curriculum is a big step forward, because it's focused on continuous education in Myanmar. These are just some examples of what we can contribute. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your opinion. Any more questions from the audience? I think no more questions. So should we close the open session, open forum? Yes, I think. Thank you very much. So now it's my absolute privilege to request the Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen MP, the Honorable Minister, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to say a few words. Honorable Minister.
Good afternoon. I was trying to listen to these main keynote speakers, and they made a good presentation, although I couldn't hear everything. Because of the ecosystem, I thought I'm finding some difficulty. I hope others didn't get the difficulty. So I could not, although I was trying to listen, but I didn't listen all the opinions. You see, Rohingya, this problem was created by Myanmar, and solution also lies with Myanmar. The problem started by the Myanmar military government. The Rohingya, who is known as the ethnic minority, they have been living in Burma for years. Until 1962, these Rohingya people were in the parliament, they have right to vote, and they are cabinet members from the Rohingya community. Is it okay? They have been cabinet members from the Rohingya community. But since '82, things deteriorated very badly. And now, of course, they have become stateless. This is one of the saddest stories of the world, that a large community which were once relatively wealthy have become stateless. And the military government in Myanmar, they have been running this show for years. Only for a brief period it was out of military. But even when it was out of military, the so-called democratic government of Myanmar basically followed the strategies and policies of the military government. They continued to different size. No wonder these in 2017 on 25th August, this large number of Rohingya people are being persecuted. And then no other country in the world came forward to rescue them. It is Sheikh Hasina, the Bangladesh Prime Minister. She has the generosity to allow these Rohingya to cross the border. And we gave them temporary shelter. Currently we have 1.1 million, and this is the 5th year now. Myanmar is not our enemy. They are a neighbor. And they agreed to take them back. Myanmar agreed to take them back. We only wanted to know whether they will ensure the safety and security. In the instrument, 3 instruments that we signed, Myanmar agreed to provide them safety and security. Myanmar also agreed to create conducive environment in the Rakhine state for their safe and dignified return. Unfortunately, they did not keep their words. And as a result, not a single Rohingya has gone back. This is the 5th year. Not a single one has gone back. And many Western governments, our tight partners, they have been supporting us basically in the humanitarian affairs. And these countries, some of them have good relationship with Myanmar. It is unfortunate that the leaders of the Western world, the leaders of human rights, who strongly oppose genocide or ethnic cleansing, they continue to do business as usual with the military government of Myanmar. If you look at the numbers, their trade has gone up from 3.5 times to 15 times over the last 4 years. Even the European Union, which got the Nobel Prize for Peace, their member states also did good business with Myanmar. They take it as business as usual. We have the experience, this is not the new phenomenon. Even in the 70s, Rohingyas were kicked out of the country, around 200,000 of them. Even on those days, there was a military government. But through dialogue and discussion, Myanmar took them back. Even in 1992, we gave shelter to around 253,000 Rohingya minority people in Bangladesh. But through dialogue and discussion, Myanmar took 236,000 of them. They went back to their country with dignity and honor. So we have the history that Myanmar, when they're under pressure and through dialogue and discussion, they have the habit of taking them back. Even in those days, there was a military government in Myanmar, that they took them back. But on those differences, on those days, there was strong economic sanction on Myanmar, and they had no friend. So, by and large, maybe that is one reason why they agreed to take them back. But now, they're doing business as usual until the new military government. Before the coup, they've been doing, all the Western countries that are doing business as usual. Of course, China is the largest trading partner. But other friends of Bangladesh, like, I don't want to name those, but if you look at it, our friends, Western friends, they have been doing business as usual. And there is no pressure on Myanmar government to do anything else. I think Rohingya problem is not a problem of Bangladesh alone. It is a global problem. And global leadership should come forward for resolving this problem. Our priority is repatriation of this Rohingya. We want them to go back to their own country for a better future. Our priority, they should go back. They cannot have a better future in Bangladesh. They have to go back to their own country for a better future. If anybody else is willing to take them, they're most welcome. But it is mandatory on the part of the varieties of agencies to create conducive environment in the Rakhine State from where they have been kicked out. I have been arguing all the UN agencies that they should invest more money and resources in Myanmar, particularly in Rakhine State, so that they create a conducive environment for the safe return. These Rohingyas are not like goods that you make an agreement, following day you send them up there. They are not merchandise that you can want them to go and they will go. You have to create an environment of confidence building. And that, I think, global leaders should come forward to do it. Because there is a trust deficit between these Rohingya, the forcibly displaced population of Myanmar, and the Myanmar government. There have been attempts for their return. But the Rohingya are afraid of going back. To create his confidence on these Rohingya people, I think all the international agencies, including the leaders of the world, those who are doing good business in Myanmar, China, Russia, Japan, South Korea, they all should come forward. India, they should come forward and create a conducive environment in Myanmar. It is also their responsibility. I'm happy that Indian Foreign Secretary was here along with the President, and assured me next week he would be visiting, very soon he would be visiting Myanmar. And he will discuss about this issue, about this Rohingyas. This is a good news. Anyway, we want a peaceful solution of this issue. Unfortunately, many of the development partners of late have been providing a lot of weapons to Myanmar. And that's very sad. There are countries who are providing. Myanmar recently has purchased a lot of weapons. It's 2.4 billion worth of weapons. And who are the countries supplying? Besides China and Russia, there is India, South Korea. You see this, of course, North Korea, Israel, Ukraine, Philippines, everybody is supplying you weapons. I think those should be stopped. There should be economic sanctions so that at least no one can sell any more weapons to Myanmar. This is one. And other, unless Myanmar is being under pressure, they're not going to do anything. They took back their people in 78, took back their people in 1992 when Myanmar government was under pressure. That pressure is missing. And I shall hope, this time I must say we are a little better. It's because in the UN General Assembly, in the UN Third Committee, all countries, including China and Russia, those who always supporting Myanmar, they also abstain. And we got a resolution, consensus resolution. 107 countries, sponsored the resolution. And countries who normally support Myanmar, they abstain. So this is a good news, that now the global leadership, the global community had get together. And this time another important issue Of late, people have been talking more about restoration of democracy. But in the last resolution, they speak more about, the resolution was more about repatriation of the displaced people of Myanmar. The focus was on repatriation. So this is a good news. It created good avenues for us, and naturally we would expect all countries come forward and try to put pressure on Myanmar. And all the UN agencies and others, they should put more efforts to create conducive environment in the Rakhine State. By the by, for the last 4 years, since 2017, there has not been any violence in the Rakhine State. So there is no reason why the Rohingya should not go back. Only reason they are not going back because they're afraid of the military government. We made some suggestions to Myanmar government before the current one, the last one, Aung San Suu Kyi's government. One is that there is a trust deficit. So therefore, they should send some of their Myanmar officials to talk to them, talk to the Rohingya. They did send. They only sent one time. And when their officials came to Bangladesh and talked to the Rohingya in the camps, they are bombarded with questions. The question, relevant question, the Kofi Annan report, the relevant questions that when they go, will they be given their citizenship right? Or will there be a process of acquiring their citizenship? The Myanmar officials who came, they could not answer, so they went back. Since then, Myanmar did not send any other delegation. Afterwards, we make a proposal. We said, how about Myanmar engages non-military civilian observers in the Rakhine State from their own friendly country. It is their choice. They can bring some observers from China, from Russia, from ASEAN, India. And if there is some observer, non-military civilian observers, then at least we can tell this Rohingya in the camps that besides the military, the Myanmar military, there is some non-military observers there. And they will look after your interest. You will not be persecuted again. Myanmar don't reply. So we are in a bad shape. But I am always optimist. I'm optimist because history tells me that there has been exodus of Rohingya from Myanmar, but under pressure, Myanmar took them back. And now also, if they are under pressure, they will take them back. And the global leaders should create that pressure. It's sanction of 1 and 2 generals not to visit their country is not enough. It is not enough. There must be effective pressure on Myanmar so that they take back their people. There must be effective pressure. And they know what are the effective pressures. There could be coalition of friends, coalition of the willing. And in that case, things may move faster. Bangladesh has been, it is costing us a lot. Initially, when these Rohingya people, the wretched people came, it is the local community that helped them. Before international community or UN agencies came forward to help them out, it is the local Bangladeshi community who provided them support, food, shelter. But now, the Rohingya number is more than double of the local community, and the local community has been deprived of many of the, job and others, and naturally, there is some problem. They don't like them anymore. We are afraid there could be some, what should I say, violence. We're afraid already because this is a large number of Rohingya. They're staying in Bangladesh. Actually, they have nothing to do. and many of them got involved in drug trafficking, in criminal activities. You know, recently, some of them were killed because of, we were told, because of sharing of, you know, the drug money. Of course, there are those who want to go back, some of them were killed in the camp, inside the camp. In order to protect the Rohingya, we started developing fencing. But many of our friends oppose us it. They don't like fencing. We provide security till in the afternoon, I mean till around 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and then it is free for the Rohingyas. They move around. To control them, we are trying to put some fencing. Unfortunately, some of our friendly countries opposes it. We tried to, there has been many of the Rohingya are involved in human trafficking, sale of girls over the internet. So we stopped 4G. And some of our friends got very upset. We did not stop 4G in Cox's Bazar, where most of the international agencies located their offices. We only stopped within the campus, the 32 camps. Some of our friends got very upset. We stopped it because they take the picture, they sell them over the internet, they give them marriage, fake marriage to some people in other countries, and then they try to take them through the boat. And when they try to take them by the boat, when they are stranded on the boat, then they ask us to give shelter to those, boat people. Although they are not our nationals, although they were not in our boats. Recent one, there are around 70 Rohingya, mostly female. They were all sold as for wedding through internet. They're in a Thai boat. They're our nationals. They're close to Andaman, island, far away, 1,700 kilometers away from Bangladesh maritime boundary. But we are requested to take them back. As per the ITLO's law, these neighboring countries, there are 8 of them, they should give shelter anybody is in the ocean, the ocean, in the maritime beyond our boundary. No one asked those countries to take them back. They put pressure on us to take them back. That's not our responsibility. The global leaders should come forward to take them and help them. You see, this is so sad. Whenever anything happens, looks like Bangladesh is the land for the Rohingya. Is it a fault that we have given them the shelter to keep them away from persecution? Is it not the responsibility of the global leaders to give them shelter or keep them away from persecution? Rohingya, once they go back, only then they will have a better future. We have been told that why you are moving them to Basanchor? Because we get a lot of rain and monsoon. During monsoon time, there are landslides. And since few people were killed, so we decided to decongest and also to reduce the risk of their death due to landslide. We decided to take 100,000 of them to one of the largest stable islands known as Basanchor. We spent around 350 million from our own pocket, built beautiful, the housing up there. I invite all of you to visit those. These are beautiful, shelters. And then we are being criticized. Why are we taking them to Basanchor? And now they're asking that, you should make better communication network in Basanchor. Recently, we asked, the government asked to close down all the private maktabs and so-called schools. Under UNICEF, we are running 3,000 schools in the camps, 3,000 schools for the Rohingya children. But there has been mushroom growth of many home-based private, mostly religious, the tools, and we call it maktab. And there, what they teach, because in this school, 3,000 schools that we have, we are imparting teaching under the Myanmar curricula and in their own language, so that once they go back, they can reintegrate with their society. But in the maktabs, they are being given ideas about radicalism. They are creating a mindset of venom of hatred. And we don't like it, because it will create more insecurity. And therefore, we had to close down those unauthorized, private, these maktabs, and they call schools. But we are being criticized. We are doing in order to a safer place, because there has been some difficulties up there, as you know. So anyway, the issue is these Rohingya must go back. And sooner they go back, it is really good for everybody. If they stay here for a longer period, we are afraid there could be pockets of radicalism. And terrorist has no boundary. They have no faith. Once they are a terrorist, they may create insecurity in the whole region. And it will affect the investment of China. It will affect the investment of Japan. It will affect the investment of South Korea and other countries who are currently investing in Myanmar. Many of our development partners are also investing in Myanmar. Maybe it is time for them to wake up and stop investing in Myanmar. I would appeal to development partners. They should not go along with business as usual. They should put, real economic sanction on the military government of Myanmar so that they can return there. I'm thankful to Germany, because at least they are not investing anymore. They are still doing trading, but not investing anymore in Myanmar. This is a good sign. And they said that until the Rohingyas are returned, then they would put a moratorium on it. This is the good news, but others should follow them. And we hope that, other countries will come forward to resolve this issue. We know the basic problem of Rohingya, why they don't like to go back. Others should come forward and try to, see that those issues are being resolved. But our priority is repatriation of Rohingya as fast as possible. This is our priority. And because we have seen even our democratic, framework, things didn't work out. So they must go back, and we urge all the development partners and the global leadership to come forward and help us with a sincere mind. If they come forward, and also ASEAN members. The good news is this time, after the resolution in the UN, the ASEAN did not allow Myanmar, because ASEAN always comes up when covered. They say, we don't interfere in the internal issues of a member country. But this time, they denied, the membership. I mean, they didn't invite the military leader to the ASEAN summit. This is a good sign. Hopefully there will be more, they will come forward with more sincerity and effectiveness. And if all come forward with more sincerity and effectiveness, I have a hope this problem will resolve. I'm not here to, I thought I will learn from them more. Is there any other way out? But our position, Myanmar is not an enemy, and we want to resolve it through dialogue and discussion. That's the position we have. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for your insightful words and for showing us the real scenario and update of the crisis. Of course, we all want a safe return of these Rohingya people, displaced people from Myanmar. Now, I would like to request Mr. Nazirur Rahman, the Executive Editor, Diplomats Publication, to propose vote of thanks. Mr. Nazirur Rahman.
Thank you. Honorable Chief Guest, special guest and distinguished audience, good afternoon. It seems to be a great honor to propose the vote of thanks to all who have helped us in making this seminar a very resounding success. First of all, I would like to give my hearty vote of thanks to Honorable Chief Guest for gracing today's seminar. Thank you, sir, for your very thought-provoking and interesting address. I would like to thank our panel speaker, keynote speaker, for excellent presentation and making this seminar very meaningful and interesting. I'm happy to express a vote of thanks to our colleagues who made this seminar a grand success through their motivation and dedication. During this seminar, we understand that the emergency and better understanding the Rohingya crisis and its resettlement. Once again, I thank you, all of you, for your cordial cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. We have come to the end of today's seminar. Lunch will be served soon, and you are requested to have your lunch. Thank you again and again. Please keep seated. Please keep seated. Lunch will be served on the table, I think.